The 1989 French Open Final was played between Stefan Edberg and Michael Chang in June 1989. Stefan Edberg was the third seed, 23 years old, and from Sweden, and Michael Chang was the 15th seed, 17 years old, and from the United States. So this was the third match between the two of them. I'll get into that a little bit more in a minute. And they both were competing in their first French Open final. Edberg had already won a couple or three major championships, all on grass. The first two were in the Australian Open, which prior to 1988 was played on grass, and he had won Wimbledon in 1988. So this would be the second surface for him and the third major championship possibly he could win. And then if he could eventually go on to win the U.S. Open, he would be a Grand Slam winner. So Stefan Edberg, 23 years old, in his prime, with a major opportunity to snag a French Open title, which was very hard for some people to win. And then Michael Chang, who was very much a newcomer on the scene, only 17 years old. He would have been a junior in high school, really, at this time, just finishing up his junior year of high school. He actually dropped out in his sophomore year of high school in 10th grade to become a professional tennis player. So he had played the majors the prior year when he was 16, and now he was 17 and possibly going to be the youngest winner ever of a major championship, male or female. They both had some tough matches going into the final. Interestingly, Chang played Pete Sampras in the second round and beat him 6-1, 6-1, 6-1. So that's Sampras wasn't quite Sampras yet at that point. He was a little bit older than Chang actually, but that was how that match worked out. And Sampras wasn't known for being a great player. In the fourth round, Chang had a classic match with Ivan Lendl, winning that one in 5 sets. And for Edberg's part, he didn't really have any tough matches until the semifinals, where he played Boris Becker in the semis, and he beat Becker in 5 sets. So that was actually, I believe, the closest Becker ever got to being in a French Open final or championship too. So that's sort of the background going here. Guess you'd have to say Edberg was the favorite, but it almost seemed like Chang had destiny on his side. It was like, if he's gone this far, why can't he just go one match more? And sometimes those things work out for players, and sometimes they don't. They don't make it through the final, but we'll see in this one. Contrast of styles too. Edberg is a was a serve and volley specialist with a great backhand from the baseline, and Chang was a great ground stroke player with very great quickness, but he had really a good all around game. He had a good serve. He could come up to the net. He could volley. He's just his only challenge was really his height. He was only 5'9", but he was able to offset that to a great extent with his quickness and his skill. They had played twice before. Edberg won the first match quite easily, and Chang won the second match quite easily. So what happened in this first set was that Chang kind of continued his tactics from the second match that they ever played, and notably on Edberg's serve, Chang received the serve inside of the baseline. Edberg has such a big serve, a kick serve, a topspin serve. It would just bounce up so high, and that for Chang it would be very hard to reach that if he stayed back behind the baseline and waited until it got up to his highest point. He would be so far back that Edberg would already be at the net and put the point away. So what Chang did is he came up kind of like Agassi or Jimmy Connors would in many ways, and take the shot on the rise. And he did this so well. He just played outstanding in the first set, returning Edberg's serve and also with his own ground strokes. He just really dominated. He had um, Edberg running around. He was hitting volley winners. He was hitting forehand winners. Just playing a great all-around game. Edberg started to kind of even it out at the end of the first set. He held his serve down love 5. He almost broke Chang's serve at 1-5. And you can see him starting to hit some winners, starting to hit some good forehands, some volley winners. So by the end of the set, you could see, okay, Edberg's gotten his feet under him, and it looks like he's going to possibly make a match of it or contest a little bit better. But we don't know. Maybe Chang will continue dominating in the second set like he has the first, or maybe Edberg is going to make a bit more of a challenge of it. So looking forward to this second set, and we'll see if it's any different than the first one.